pronounced vows as the first religious of the Sacred Heart, the idea became reality. 2 centuries later to the day, a graduate of Washington's Country Day School of the Sacred Heart and Newton College, began her 8-year term as the first American Superior General of the Society of the Sacred Heart. With pride in her labors in the vineyard of the Lord and her servant leadership of nearly 3,500 religious heeding the pull of the poor throughout the world, with esteem for her society marked by great union among its members and by a vital desire to procure the greater glory of God, and with admiration for a renowned legacy of excellence in Catholic education, Boston College joyfully proclaims Sister Claire Pratt, Religious of the Sacred Heart, Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Accepting the degree for Sister Pratt is a longtime faculty member of Boston College, Sister Elizabeth White. Patrick E. Roach. The business enterprise bearing his family name mirrors his personal integrity and deep-seated commitment to community involvement and living the Golden Rule. A graduate of Boston Latin School and a member of our Golden Eagle class of 1951, he served his apprenticeship during his college years as a part-time meat cutter at the First National Stores, then took the express lane to become today's respected innovator and leader in the food industry. With equal dedication, he has pursued another notable career of aid and philanthropy to worthy causes, including Catholic and public schools, higher education, the annual appeal of the Archdiocese of Boston, the American Ireland Fund, the Parkway Boys and Girls Clubs, food pantries, elder assistance programs, and a host of others. To signify deep regard for a loyal son whose life honors his alma mater and exemplifies ideals and values revered by this community of teachers and scholars, Boston College proudly confers upon Patrick E. Roach the degree of Doctor of Business Administration, honoris causa. Cheryl T. Thomas. The professional history of this Marquette University alumna reflects Jesuit education's ideal of learning in the service of others. A native and current resident of Chicago, the metropolis described as the city that worked, she played key administrative roles during a 30-year career in city government and civic engagement, maintaining that reputation. As Commissioner of the Department of Buildings, Deputy Chief of Staff to Mayor Richard M. Daley, Director of Personnel Policy and Utilization for the Department of Water, and Director of Management Services for the Department of Aviation. Appointed by President Clinton in 1998, she now serves as Chair of the U.S. Railroad Retirement Board, which administers the $8 billion a year federal benefit programs covering the nation's railroad workforce and their families. Admiring the distinctly Ignatian quality of a dedicated and gifted public servant, Boston College takes great pleasure in declaring Cheryl T. Thomas, Doctor of Public Administration, honoris causa. Tommy G. Thompson. At the youthful age of 24, he stepped into the maelstrom of politics and became a political giant, serving 34 years in elective office. First for 20 years in the Wisconsin State Assembly, followed by a record 4 terms in the governor's office. As Wisconsin's governor, he gained national attention in shaping the debate on welfare reform, badgering federal regulators and state legislators alike for initiatives to eradicate the entrenched bureaucracy of poverty. Now Secretary of Health and Human Services and Chief Advocate for the health and welfare of all Americans, he brings vast executive experience to leading the nation's largest civilian agency and administering its $429 billion budget to address crucial issues in American society. Holding his advocacy for the sanctity of life and for our most vulnerable citizens in special regard, Boston College honors a skilled political practitioner and principled public servant, conferring upon Tommy G. Thompson the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
The Honorable Tommy G. Thompson, United States Secretary of Health and Human Services, will address the graduates of the class of 2001.
Father Leahy, Bishops Murphy and McGuire, distinguished honorees, members of the Board of Trustees, members of the faculty, administrative staff, ladies and gentlemen, and especially the graduates. It's wonderful being here with you to receive an honorary doctorate from an institution as famous as Boston College is truly humbling and very much appreciated, and I thank you for it. But I'm a little nervous. Boston College has developed a habit of not being very nice to my home state of Wisconsin. And as a result, we've got quite a rivalry going on right now. It started about 5 years ago when you encouraged Father Leahy from Marquette, our great Jesuit university in Milwaukee. And if that was not enough, yeah, give him a big round of applause. He's a great man. Our loss was your gain. But if that was not enough, then last year, our relationship really became icy when Boston College Mike Motaw beat out Wisconsin Steve Reinbrecht for the Hobie Baker Award in college hockey. And then to make matters even worse, this past season, the Wisconsin Badgers were ranked #1 in the country early in the season, only to have the Eagles swoop in and win the NCAA hockey championship. So now, you've taken our friend, Father Leahy, 2 of our hockey trophies. That's why I'm a little nervous up here today that someone, when I walk off of the stage, is going to tell me that the honorary doctorate is not for real. But it is a distinct honor. It's a distinct honor for me to be here with all of you for such a special, wonderful day in the lives of the students. But just as importantly, the parents and the loved ones who helped the graduates get to this day. In fact, I'd like to take just a quick moment, and hopefully I won't embarrass her son Taylor, to recognize my favorite parent in the audience, my good friend and colleague, Christine Whitman. Christy, of course, is the cabinet officer of the EPA and former governor of New Jersey. And I please recognize Christy and her husband, John. And I know that events like today with their son make her and John more proud than any political victories. These are, ladies and gentlemen, the accomplishments that matter most. My wife and I put our 3 children through college, including our 2 daughters at a rival Jesuit campus, Marquette. So we know well the emotions that all parents are feeling here today. A combination of joy, pride, and relief, and yes, a potential increase in your paycheck. For 4 years, you've been holding your breath, wondering if all the time, the energy, and the money have been worth it. And some of you have been holding your breath for 4.5 or 5 years. But looking at this crowd of talented and eager young men and women, however, there is no doubt the sacrifices made by all have certainly been worthwhile. So congratulations, graduates, for making this a very special day. And don't forget, after the ceremony, to take a moment to thank your parents, your professors, and loved ones for all that they have done to make this day possible for you. And moms and dads, I just want you to know that when your sons and daughters told you that they were headed over to Faneuil Hall, or up the avenue to study, well, let's just say that's where their most exhaustive research took place. Graduates, you're following a tremendous legacy, a legacy of accomplishment, a legacy of accomplished men and women from this great Jesuit institution. Boston College is home to some remarkable men and women. Speaker Tip O'Neill, a Democrat, Silvio Conti, a Republican. Both left a tremendous mark on public life through their service in Washington, D.C. and for their country. Doug Flutie, Mary Kay Finnerty, Sarah Bean, and Bishop McGuire are legendary figures in the world of sports. And there are others, 130,000 others, who have added much to the quality of life in this great country and throughout our world. But what helps Boston College graduates stand out is the uniquely challenging Jesuit education that you've all received here. The Jesuit tradition encourages serious study of all the disciplines, but also teaches young people how to think, how to reason. In leading an agency that touches the lives of every American, I particularly appreciate the great Jesuit tradition of service, of using one's knowledge and intellect to raise the quality of life for all Americans. Where Jesuits and their students have gone, education has been advanced, medical care has improved, the hungry have received food, and the poor have been given hope and optimism. The combination of developing one's personal intellect and the abilities while engaging in unselfish service to others will be an invaluable asset for any young person in this century. In America today, we're on the cusp. We're on the cusp of so many remarkable medical and technological breakthroughs. Science and research are taking us places we never thought possible and bringing us to the brink of curing diseases we long believed incurable, such as cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and a vaccine for AIDS. The mapping of the human genome, which was overseen by the institutes within the Department of Health and Human Services, is a sentinel breakthrough that is on par with the greatest discoveries of humankind in the way that will revolutionize our way of life. And another revolutionary breakthrough came a few weeks ago when we approved the drug Gleevec, a pill that puts into remission a form of leukemia called chronic myeloid leukemia. Its development marks one of those rare moments when we can legitimately say that it looks like we've beaten back a vicious form of cancer. Gleevec represents the wave of the future because it is the first cancer drug that is a product of molecular targeting. The groundbreaking ability to deliver a drug directly to the diseased cells, leaving the healthy cells alone. Gleevec targets a single cancer-causing protein, and like a light switch, turns off its signal to produce leukemia cells, and we're confident that molecular targeting soon will allow us to switch off other diseases as well. The full consequences of these discoveries and others are yet to be determined. How we as a nation aggressively pursue these advancements and use them for the betterment of all people will be very much up to you and your generation. So as you tackle these challenges and put into practice your Jesuit education, don't be motivated just by what is being discovered in our high-tech world. Rather, be inspired by how these advances are being discovered by the men and women who are taking us to those once unimaginable places. Take the scientists who developed Gleevec. They relentlessly pursued this drug because they wanted to serve, not because they wanted to get rich quick. These brilliant researchers were willing to take risks and make personal sacrifices. They stood on the shoulders of decades worth of research, knowledge, and dreams shared by others. They knew occasional failure, but they kept at it, and they won. So I have a simple charge for you today. Be like them. Be bold, but yet be humble. By this I mean, be bold enough to pursue your dreams, to seek out your place in our society, and make your mark in this world, but temper your boldness with the humility to serve others in a greater good. Take measure of how your bold ambitions will affect others and the quality of life of the community in which you will live. The scientists believe Gleevec were bold enough to pursue treatments for a disease thought to be untreatable, yet they were humble enough to know that the true reward for their efforts would not be their personal gain, but in the gain of society as a whole. They were driven by both their boldness and their humility. Similar inspiration comes from the boldness and the humility of those who went before you at this great college. Distinguished alumni such as Dr. Carl O'Hara, who wanted to make an impact in the fight against AIDS. So in the 80s, he co-authored a groundbreaking book on the pathology of the AIDS virus that became an invaluable source of information for the medical community. Or Kenneth Hackett, who was the head of Catholic Social Services in Baltimore. He is now responsible for the nationwide network of Catholic service agencies that feed the hungry, clothe and shoulder the homeless, provide counsel to alcoholics and drug addicts, and will help little children get a decent start in life. Or draw inspiration from your fellow students. Shirley, sitting next to you, is one of the 1,200 BC students who gave up fun in the Florida sun this past spring break to serve the needy in places like the Appalachian Mountains and the Haley House Soup Kitchen in South End. To me, this shows a compassionate spirit that honors the greatest traditions of this wonderful university. These shining lights show that there are so many ways to serve, even as you aggressively pursue your careers. Bring that balance into your lives. from one who has spent his adult life in government, may I suggest that nowhere is your talent more needed or the reward of service so great than in government. We need the best and the brightest in government, whether it be a scientist at the National Institute of Health, a policy expert at a state agency, a member of the local school board, or elected official like a governor. There is so much to learn and so much to gain by serving in government. In fact, let me offer you this recipe for a successful career. Give a minimum of 2 years of your life to government service at any level, whether full-time or part-time, elected or unelected. Doing so will raise your career, your quality of life to heights you never would have imagined. Public service will strengthen your skills, broaden your perspective, and will enhance your career advancement. It will make you a better member of your community and a more well-rounded person. And don't forget to serve those closest to you. Take time. Have fun with your family and friends. When you have children, make sure you give them the same energy and devotion you give your career and others. The earlier you heed this advice, the fewer regrets you will have when you're older. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a remarkable world of discovery, a time when far-off dreams are being transformed into ready-made solutions. Your Jesuit education prepared you well for the challenges before you in this nation. It has taught you to pursue excellence, but to do so in service to others, to be men and women of conscience. As St. Ignatius of Loyola wrote, the more universal the good is, the more it is divine. Therefore, preferences ought to be given to those persons and places which, through their own improvement, become a cause which can spread the good accomplished to many others who are under their influence or take guidance from them. That certainly describes Boston College and their graduates. So be bold and be humble. Go out, grab a hold of this world, and make a difference, and I'm sure that you will. And in doing so, take care to touch gently the face of your fellow man, for that will make the greatest difference of all. Thank you.
There now follows the conferral of degrees in course in the order of the foundation of the schools.
Reverend President, I am pleased to represent the oldest and largest college at Boston College, the College of Arts and Sciences. On behalf of the faculty, I am honored to present to you the candidates who have completed all requirements for graduation, whom I thereby certify as unruly, but you can see that, but also as eligible for the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science. Nicole Estvanik, who is the winner of the Reverend Thomas Gasson Award in the College of Arts and Sciences for the most distinguished academic record over 4 years, will come forward on behalf of her friends and classmates in the class of 2001.
Reverend President, I am honored to present the candidates who have completed all requirements in the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences since the 2000 commencement. Their faculty and I hereby certify they are eligible for the degrees of Master of Arts and Master of Science. Accepting the degree for the class is Rebecca Heumann, receiving a master's degree in geology and geophysics. Her thesis showed how soil processes remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and thus alter the global CO2 budget, results that will improve forecasting of global warming and climate change. Following graduation, Becky plans to work in the area of international environmental policy. Reverend President, I'm honored to present the candidates who have completed all requirements in the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences since the 2000 commencement. Their faculty and I hereby certify they are eligible for the university's highest degree, the Doctor of Philosophy. There have been 69 doctoral degrees awarded since the last commencement. These doctoral candidates have met all of the exacting standards of the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences, as well as the detailed requirements applicable in their respective fields. The candidates are from doctoral programs in the natural sciences, social sciences, and humanities. Accepting on behalf of the class is Father Faustino Cruz of the Society of Mary. Tito is a native of the Philippines, and he is accompanied today by his 81-year-old mother, Rosalind Cruz, and his sister Victoria and brother Alfonso, who traveled here from the Philippines. He's the first Marist from the Philippines to receive a doctoral degree. Today he receives an interdisciplinary doctorate in religion and education. He's currently a member of the faculty of the Graduate Theological Union in Berkeley, California.
Reverend President, I'm honored to present the candidates who, having completed all requirements in the School of Law, are eligible for the degree of Doctor of Laws. Robert Harrison III will accept the degree for the class.
Reverend President, I am honored to present the candidates who, having completed all requirements in the College of Advancing Studies, I hereby certify are eligible for the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Maureen Bennett, graduating with highest honors and recipient of the Lombard Award for the highest academic achievement, will accept the degree for the class.